Black magic.
You've got to know, you've got to show, it's time to roll. So just tell me what you wanna hear. Tell me what you want, so just tell me what you wanna hear.
Ryan Fleming here, and we are at the Tyson Dux Wrestling Factory right here in London, Ontario, Canada. And we are with the wrestling indie icon, Mr. Tyson Dux.
Icon?
Icon, of course.
Okay.
Come on, listen to him play it down. Downplay it just a little bit. Awesome to have you on the show. Thanks so much for being here, Tyson.
Hey, thanks for having me.
So you and I, we've met a few times. You
Yes.
know, we've crossed paths with Crossfire and some other promotions
Yes.
as well. You've been doing this a long time.
Mm-hmm.
You're running the school here and stuff, and you're trying to get the next generation their big push,
Yes.
or their big spot, if
Yes.
you will. Tell me, one, what made you decide to open up a school, and two, what are your aspirations when it comes to these kids? A little more specific, I guess, on that.
Right. I've always had the idea of opening a school. I used to run a school in Windsor, Can-Am Wrestling School.
Okay.
It was owned by a guy, and then I was head trainer.
Nice.
So I always wanted to give back anyways. I enjoy this business so
Right.
much. And I know that my career won't last forever, being at it 21 years now. 21
Right.
years
Wow.
is a long time.
Yeah, it is.
So I know my body can't keep up at the pace that it should in this business. So I always thought I was always going to be a part of it.
Right.
So to just extend my career, I just took it into a coaching form, which I really, really enjoy.
Right. Now, and I maybe joke a little hyperbole with a Canadian icon, but you really are, though. You're one of those guys that everyone in Canada knows, especially in the wrestling scene. You're one of the guys when it comes to trainers and stuff. Like you've done stints training with the WWE. You know,
Yeah.
You're that name. You know, when it comes out there. It's gotta. I would assume it's got to feel good, for one, being that name, and two, it's got to be a testament to your work itself.
Yeah.
Who trained you, and what got you that kind of work ethic?
Oh, my work ethic comes from my father.
Okay.
So my old man was like a farmer, a truck driver, long haul truck driver, like a lot of things. He did a lot of things. He did his own business. He was a really hardworking dude, and I love my old man so much, right? And so my work ethic comes from him. So like 9 years old, I was working. It never stopped as a kid. So I always tell these kids, I always tell them that I have never been the athlete that Ricochet is. I'm not the guy that is an NFL football player. What I am is a testament to hard work, and that's what I do. I put hard work into this place, and I put hard work into my career, and that's what got me to the levels that I've been at. And so I guess it's just one of those things. I never ever liked the idea of being the icon. I don't see myself as an icon, but I understand where that comes from. Does it make me happy? It puts a lot of pressure on.
Right.
You know what I mean?
No.
Because you always have to be the guy to always commit. So when I started in this business a long time ago, the guys that showed me the ropes were Scott D'Amore.
Right.
Is a
Impact
big one.
Wrestling.
An unknown that you might not know of, but I do credit him later on is Ron Davies.
Okay.
Ron Davies makes wrestling boots now in Cambridge, Ontario, and Ron Davies was a job guy for Maple Leaf Wrestling and all these places, and the dude is just fundamentally, he's the guy that gave me my fundamentals, and that's what makes me who I am, is my fundamentals. So I give a lot to Ron Davies, and then of course Terry Taylor took me the rest of the way.
Right.
Terry Taylor is the man. So. And I still learn.
Now, is he really the man? Because I've heard some backstage
My
stories.
God, he's so Terry Taylor is the most unbelievable human being. I'll tell you a story.
I heard a good river.
Oh, the best. The best. I remember me and Terry when I went down to coach for WWE, and they were using me as a guy to show fundamentals to the new guys coming in. And so Terry's class was in the afternoon. He said, "Hey, do you want to be a part of my class?" I said, "I would love to." So I just shadowed his class, and I still learn. 21 years later, Terry Taylor is still showing me
Because
how
he's seen
things
it
are
all.
done.
He's seen it all, and he
Unbelievable.
sees it from everybody as well, right?
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
And for a lot of people who don't know, if you are just watching, Terry Taylor, Red Rooster.
Red Rooster.
Red Rooster. That's all you got to say. Everyone will
Red Rooster.
remember.
Everybody knows that one.
But, you know, for the smarks, as some of us like to call he's one of the main guys behind the scenes for WWF, WCW,
Yes.
you name it, Impact Wrestling,
Wrestling,
TNA
yes.
when they first started.
Yes.
A great man, and what a great guy to learn under, you know.
Such a good dude.
Now, one thing that I want to find out, because this show is about, you know, coming up as an indie wrestler and trying to make it big. What are some of the hurdles that you came across, and some of the hurdles, you know, that maybe you feel might have held you back, or maybe some of the things that, you know, that you could see for other wrestlers that hold them back?
When it comes to wrestling, it's a lot of things. There's a lot of variables in pro wrestling because it is entertainment. It's an entertainment style sport.
For sure.
So there's a lot of things that will kind of hinder your process. I find that a lot of it's internal. I think it's a lot of it's self-discipline.
Right.
Either you're not wanting to commit and put the work in. You're like, you have to have another job. You just can't do this when you start out. So that's a major factor. I think another factor would be impatience. Impatience is a big thing because this isn't going to be a 6-month deal.
Right.
These kids have already, some of them have been here over a year. And they're just starting to get on shows now. And
not everybody's Paige.
Not everybody's getting paid.
You're not going to be Paige in the WWE. 19 years old getting a shot at the title
Absolutely
already,
not.
So.
You're not going to get your shots. You're going to feel as though you're owed something, but nobody owes you anything. This is the entertainment business.
Right. And you mentioned him earlier, a guy like Ricochet, and you look how long he was in the business
Forever.
before he even got it. And I don't know about you, but I never thought he was going to get it because it had taken so long, you know.
Right.
You see guys like Bobby Roode.
Bobby Roode is forever.
Who's probably one of the hardest workers I've ever seen
Without
in
a
the
doubt.
game. When you see stuff like that, does it give you any cause of like, hey, you know, there's still time, or is there anything like that? Like, you know, you see a Bobby Roode, you see, you look at even a DDP back in the day, right?
Yes.
DDP's the classic.
You're right.
You know?
He's the example for us old guys. Yeah,
Right,
he really is.
I like to include us.
See that?
But
Yeah. So no, I would say like I would never ever hold anything and say no to anything.
Right.
And I'm realistic in my intentions and stuff like that. I just want to make every year a better year.
Right.
And just show like that you can do better. You can always be better. Even if you're getting up there in ages, and even though your joints aren't the same, you can still be better than the year before. And that's the kind of like that's a testament. That's an inspiration that I would like to put on to the next group.
Awesome.
You know?
That's great. So we've got some questions for you from
All
some
right.
fans. So I apologize ahead of time.
Right.
And don't worry, I've taken the names just in case.
What did you do?
So you folks, you will know. So first one is Jeff Goodridge.
Yes.
He said, of the current crop of talent in Ontario, who's going to make it? I think there's a couple there.
There's a lot of great guys, and this is the deal. There's a lot of great guys in Ontario and across the board that, like, all these guys that come out nowadays is a completely different system than when I came out. Because when we learned back in the day, there was a lot of bad guys, a lot of terrible, terrible wrestlers, and a lot of guys telling people what to do that didn't know anything about our business.
Right.
So those guys are like that's out of the way now. Because if you're not good nowadays, you are pretty much snuffed out immediately.
No more tugboats. I'm so kidding, tugboat. You're great.
Really, you really were.
You really were, Shockmaster.
Yeah, I would say, Holden Albright is one of those guys.
Okay, yeah,
Kobe Durst is another guy.
nice,
These
okay.
are young men that are like will go to no limits. Like they have nothing, they just go for it.
Right, and happen to be a couple of Duke's students there.
Oh, well, you know what? In the next year or so, you're gonna see some see some guys really come up and really show like something a little bit more special.
Well, we've seen that.
Unbelievable.
And I've seen it in the last couple of shows. Your students, especially. We spoke with Jim earlier. Strider.
Strider is
great,
my man.
Like great.
Yeah. Fantastic.
And I always forget his name. I'm sorry, but he gets the Wendy's chant all the time.
Alec
But he's
Rowe.
he's amazing.
He's a great kid.
So there are a lot of great up and comers there. I guess and I'm going to take over the question for him. I don't know if this is what he's going for, but I guess they're looking for maybe someone who's right there at the cusp. And my guess is they're probably talking Josh. Seems to be the name on everyone's lips right now.
Right.
But is there someone aside from Josh Alexander that you see out there that is ready for that next step?
I think there's a few guys that are actually ready, like Brent Banks.
Yes, for sure.
Brent Banks is one. he's definitely, Tarek is definitely one of those guys
Yeah.
that you gotta, like, I would invest in Tarek immediately.
Yeah,
Josh,
for sure.
of course. Josh is one of those household names in
Yeah.
this province now.
Yeah, right now.
That works extremely hard and does very, very well. So there's a lot of dudes that can make it. It's really the luck of the draw.
Yeah.
By this point.
Yeah, and how much of it is luck?
A lot of it.
Yeah,
a lot of
right?
it. Or
right
bad
place,
luck.
right time.
Right place, right time, right window.
Perfect. All right, good question there, Jeff. Rob Gosling.
Mm-hmm.
What do you look for in a good ref? And we spoke with Jim about this, about how important a ref's job is in a match. So what is it that you're looking for in a good ref?
Now, a true referee should actually, and to me, I'm a realistic professional wrestler.
Right.
I like realism in all my stuff. So if you're the authority figure, you have to have actual control.
Right.
And I think when guys break down and they break, like when they don't have that control, it just doesn't give the same vibe.
Right.
Because you're very much part of the show as the two wrestlers are.
Yeah, and the show is all about the sell, right?
Right, exactly.
And everyone's got to be part of that.
Everybody's
right?
got to be part of it. If one isn't convinced, then like you just ruin it. So with a referee, another part that I love is like you're seen when I need you to see you, and you're not there when I don't need you to be there,
Right.
which is like a very hard art. Because a lot of guys, when they're starting refereeing, as you can tell, they get the front row seats. So what happens is a lot of times guys get distracted and start actually watching the wrestling
Right.
instead of being a part of that show. They're watching the show.
Right.
So those are two factors that really you should always be a part of it, not try to be watching it.
Well, there you go, Rob. And Rob posted a picture of himself in a ref outfit, so I think he
Yeah.
wants to know. Okay, so Jeff Thompson, origin of Tyson's dance and why isn't done as much as it used to be?
Well, first of all, that dance hurts me a lot. I got whiplash, and I can't do it anymore because I'm old.
We were just about to get you to do it on camera, too.
Can't do it. Can't do it. It'll bust me up. The origin of the dance is, the Looney Tunes dance off stage. So it would be the Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck when they used to dance off stage with the cane and the top hat.
Right.
That is the really butchered version of that.
Wow, we are old. I know that reference, so yeah. We're
Look it up, kids. Look it up.
Pierre Doucette says, any fun road stories from his time touring in the Maritimes?
Well, there's a kid out there, and he will know this if he sees this. Chris Walsh, also known as Potter to a lot of us, snakes out east, where he almost killed us by emerging onto the highway in Newfoundland. So he picks us up at the airport, and the first turn he makes out on that highway, he almost runs in the back of this tractor, like a farm tractor.
Oh.
Like there's farm tractors on the highway out in Newfoundland. First of all, that's insane.
Sure.
And then he basically I grabbed the wheel and turn it. So because I'm a control freak anyways, I should have been driving, but I let him drive because it's his car. But after that, he never got to drive again. That was it for him.
Last time. So there you go. If you don't drive properly, whether it's your car or not, Tyson will take over.
Taking the wheel.
He is taking the wheel. We'll get one last one out of here, the way here. Actually, two real quick.
Yeah.
Bradley Samuel something says, do you believe that managers' valets have become a lost art? And should it make a return?
I most definitely agree.
I'll add on to that. Stables as well.
Yes, without a doubt. Without a doubt. Stables are starting to make a bit of a rise. As you can tell, that we got a few jumps in the old stable industry, especially in Japan. Japan seems to be catching on to that really quickly.
They
and now
seem
NXT.
to be old school WWF almost.
Very much so.
Yeah.
Very
almost
much
right
so.
before
Which
the
is
Attitude Era.
weird. Which is weird that
I'll
they're
take
actually
it.
coming around. I will too.
Yeah.
Yes, most definitely. Definitely, without a doubt. Anything in the 70s and 80s, I'm a fan of. So if anybody talks about wrestling nowadays, usually when you talk to anybody, if you say Hulk Hogan, everybody knows. If you say Jimmy Snuka, people know. If you say Aleister Black, maybe people scratch their head, right? Which he's a great talent. But at the end of the day, 70s and 80s are the place to be.
Nice. Last question, Sam Sino.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe we've heard of this guy before.
Samuel,
Would like to know about your addiction to changing your tights
I got
every
so
few
many.
weeks. So I've been told by Tarek this changes almost as much as your facial hair.
Right, it does.
Right,
It really
right.
does. It really does. I get bored easy. I feel as though I've never been really happy with a certain look. I've always wanted to always improve, always change. I change my move set too. Like you'll never see me locked down to a certain amount of moves. I always do new stuff all the time, which isn't good, and it's not bad, but it's not good either. And the same with wrestling gear. I am addicted to nice, cool wrestling gear. So if there's a guy has a new set of tights on, I'm gonna probably get a pair of tights. But then if I see a guy and he's wearing trunks, the Speedo type things, I'm like, oh man, I really like those too. So it really just ranges.
So is there like a wrestling store you hang out at? Is there a wrestling store that your wife tells you to stay away from? Better question.
Well, I do have. Here's the deal: is I have a guy that makes my kick pads. I got a guy that makes my knee pads. He's in Tennessee. I have a lady out of Hamilton. She makes all my tights. So I have actual seamstresses and tailors that actually custom make my stuff, which is a dangerous thing.
And do you have a custom suit?
Right. By the end of the no, I don't have a custom suit. Of course not. Why would I?
You have custom trunks, but no custom suit.
All my children.
No Slammy award for you.
You know what? None of my children will ever make it to university because I've spent all their money on all my stuff.
It's amazing. Tyson, I just want to say thanks so much for having me down here, having me at the academy. Before we go, I don't know. They said something about you needed to show me something. I don't know what, but
well, when we started this little thing and we were trying to get you in place, we did mention that your chest is very large. You got a very wide chest, and you know what that means.
Do I have to take it off?
No, of course not. Why would you?
Cool. All right. Well, so before this happens, let me just say this has been another edition of Sideline to Sideline with Ryan and the Wrestling Machine, Tyson Dux. And folks, I do this stuff for you.
Right. I'm gonna transfer. Okay, hold on. All right. He did sign the waiver every day. All right.
Okay, I'm ready.
All right.
Give her.
Is this in focus? Do you see this? All right. Breathe in. Breathe out.
Felt good. Felt really good.
It's like a massage. Deep tissue.
That's it. So another edition. Thanks, brother. Appreciate it. That's awesome, buddy.
Thank you very much.
Son of a bitch.
Black magic.
You got to know, got to show, it's time to roll. So just tell me what you wanna hear. Tell me what you want, so just tell me what you wanna hear.